Everything that occurs in our lives, including this event tonight and the heat that you experienced when you first came in, everything really is an opportunity for awakening. Everything that occurs in our lives is reflecting to us what we need to see in any given moment. Who am I in this given moment? Am I relaxed? Am I calm? Am I accepting of what is? Am I empowered? Am I speaking out, asking for what I want? Am I angry? Am I blaming? Who am I? You see, every moment gives you the opportunity to look into the mirror that is your life in this moment. As you look into the mirror, who are you seeing being reflected back to you? I don't mean that you should judge yourself in any way. I don't mean that you should even think about it. But you look into the mirror very silently. Am I accepting? Am I relaxed? Am I accepting of what is? Because one of the keys to awakening, it's a fundamental key. In order to be present, you have to be present with the moment as it is. There's no way around that. Now, if you have the ability to flick a switch and the air conditioner comes on, that's fine too. That's not a judgment of the heat. It's just responding to the heat. You're able to flick a switch, the air conditioning comes on, or you open a window. That's great. But there's no judgment in it. There's no complaint in it. If it's really hot and you can't flick a switch and it's really uncomfortable, you still have the power to stand up very gracefully, very lovingly, even gratefully, and leave. You could say, I'll come back in a little while when the room has cooled down. In this way, we are empowered beings. We know that we accept what is. If we can't change it, obviously you accept it. Be present with what is. If you can change it by a simple response, great. If you can't change it and it's not acceptable or it doesn't feel comfortable, you can leave. But that's about it. The most important thing is, even as you leave, don't leave the present moment. Be present as you walk down the stairs. You see, if you leave with judgment or complaint, it's not a question of leaving the room. It's a question of leaving the present moment. And that is a price you might want to consider if it's worth paying that price. To sacrifice your true state of being, to sacrifice your true nature, your essential nature, because it's too hot, or because it's too cold, or because you're not getting your own way. You know, as far as the present moment goes, it doesn't care whether you get your own way. It's simply not interested. The present moment isn't going to adjust for you. The present moment is just what it is, as it is. It says, here I am, be present with me as I am. It's up to you. But the good news is you don't have to endure ongoing discomfort. You can either flick a switch or leave. Either one is fine, but it's how you approach that really counts. How much are you taking yourself out of the present moment? So once again, you know, we make use of whatever occurs as a point of teaching, a point of reflection of what it takes to awaken in this world. To awaken is to completely transcend judgment in your life. It's to be fundamentally accepting. It's to be empowered so that your responses to the moment are empowered responses that don't take you out of the moment. A response to the moment rather than a reaction to the moment. A reaction brings forth emotions. A reaction brings forth, I want it my way. A reaction is based in the past. It's actually based in that past where you didn't get your way and you want your way and you're angry about not getting your own way and you're not going to let it go. All of that plays into a reaction. But to respond is simply to be in tune with the present moment, responsive to what is here. That's how you live an awakened life. You're responsive to what is here. And there's really nothing to think about. Life becomes very simple when you relax and accept the moment as it is. When you respond from within yourself in an empowered way. When you're free of judgment. When you're free of complaint. When you're not caught in your past or projecting into your future. When you're fundamentally here. Isn't life simple? Yay, yay, or nay, nay? Yay, yay. Everybody on the video, yay, yay. Everybody watching. And why not claim that simplicity for yourself? It's incredibly simple. It's your true nature. You know, in truth, you're actually a very simple being. Did you know that, Masao? You're a very simple man. You too. No, you're not so much you, Bill. No, you too, Bill. It's your true nature. How complicated is it just to be here with what is here? How complicated is it? With no past, no story to disturb you, no future to make you anxious, no judgments to condemn yourself or others. This is your true nature. This is the truth of who you are. At the deepest level, you are eternal silent presence. You are pure consciousness. You are profoundly uncomplicated. You are profoundly intelligent. You are profoundly silent. You are profoundly timeless. Unless, of course, you get caught in the mind. Unless, of course, you start believing in your thoughts. Or you start believing in your opinions. You start believing in your beliefs. Maybe you even repress certain emotions that are repressed within you from your past. All of these things will take you immediately out of presence. Now you're caught. You're caught in a world of separation. You're caught in the past. You're caught in judgment. You're caught in a world of illusion. These are fundamentally different worlds you can live in. Fundamentally different worlds. You get caught in busyness. You get caught in distraction. You get caught in addiction. These are fundamentally different worlds. The world of the mind, the world of the past, the future. Based in fear. Based in despair, projecting forward into hope. Fundamentally different from the world of now, the world of this moment. And it's up to you which world you live in. You can be fundamentally grounded and established in the present moment and yet still play in your story. You can still use your mind. It's just that you don't get lost there anymore. So all we're ever doing here together is one of two things. We're either being present, which is beautiful, magnificent. Every moment you're present. It's such a gift to everybody in the room here. It's such a gift to yourself. Every moment you're present. Present with what is here. That's one thing that's possible. The other is you're somehow caught in your mind. You're caught in emotion. You're caught in the past. Whatever happened a few moments ago is past. It's not here anymore. Then what's here? Just this. Just this moment. So you're either present, very deeply present, or you're bringing conscious awareness to how you're not present. Where are you? What caught you? Are you caught in the past? Are you caught in somewhere in the future? Are you caught in emotional reaction? Are you caught in judgment? Are you caught in your opinions or beliefs? Are you caught in needing things to be your way? Are you caught in the need to be right? There's nothing wrong with any of this. It's just that you have an opportunity to reveal it in consciousness. That's the beauty of this teaching. With this teaching, you cannot possibly make a mistake. You can't go wrong. If you apply the teaching, either you're present and relaxed, or you're bringing consciousness to whatever is arising within you that is unconscious. Both are essential steps in true awakening. So you can't make a mistake. You actually can't miss. You cannot possibly miss your true destiny if you really apply the teaching, if you're either present or you're really paying attention from presence. Because one leads to deeper and deeper levels of presence, the other leads to greater and greater levels of mastery of your mind and ego. They're the two essential steps in true awakening. Presence and mastery of your mind and ego. When you're really present, it's very difficult to miss anything. You don't miss anything. You don't miss anything within yourself. You don't miss the slightest thought arising within you. You don't miss the slightest movement of an arm or a finger. You don't miss anything. You're like a presence hawk. You're very aware. The movement of a head. You just don't miss anything. That's what it's like to be truly present and awake. When you're truly present and awake, you're a very conscious being. The movement of your body is conscious and present. You gaze out through your eyes. There's consciousness, presence, gazing out through the eyes. Who is gazing out through these eyes? I am. Who is hearing through these ears in this moment? So I have to actually hear. I am. Who is hearing the sound in this moment? I am. Who is aware of the body breathing in this moment? I am. Who is I am? I am. I cannot tell you who I am. I simply am. Where am I? Here. When? Now. How? I'm just present with what is here. I'm just present with what is actually here in the moment, with me. If I can see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, or smell it in this moment, I can be present with it. The moment I'm truly present with something that is here in the moment, with me, I must come out of the mind, because mind is past future. Thoughts stop all by themselves because thoughts are past future. Now I'm here. Who is here? I am. And when I speak those words, I am, it's simply a declaration, an expression from the deepest levels of presence, from the center of my being. It's not coming from my mind. If it's coming from my mind, then I am a fraud. It has to be an expression from presence. Who is expressing from presence? I am. I'm not in my mind. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know what comes next. Okay, so would anybody like to ask a question? I encourage questions. You people who've been away for a while, otherwise we'll take a question from the list. Shall we, Mary?
Okay, this question is from Diane, who is from the Bay Area. Hi, Leonard and Mary. I'd love for Leonard to talk a bit about the thing, in quotes, that causes me the most suffering, and that I would guess is probably universal. How do we skillfully work with and be with the pain of interacting with others when the pain comes from wanting to please, wanting to be liked, and trying to avoid being abandoned by friends and family who find me to be too easily triggered or sometimes too honest about my feelings? Separate from my question, here's my confession. I've always been someone who is terrified to completely be myself and to prioritize taking care of myself because I believe no one can handle my imperfection, and I'm terrified of ending up completely alone in the world. If you decide to use my question, you're welcome to share my confession and name too if appropriate, with gratitude and love for you guys.
Okay, it's rather a long question. The first part, if I recall correctly, is about interacting with others in a way that creates pain, that's very painful, because there are these patterns of pleasing others. That was the main gist of it. Can anyone relate to that? Does anyone in this room have that? Hands up the pleasers. Well, hands up those that didn't have your hands up. Maybe you need to do a little pleasing. It could go the other way. Okay, but the pleasers, you know that it can be painful because you keep pleasing, pleasing, pleasing. You're seeking acceptance at some level, approval, love. And it doesn't always work, does it? You just tend to lose yourself in the other, and the other invariably finishes up stinging you in some way. Right, folks? Right. Now, again, these are just patterns from childhood. These are learned patterns, either our parents modelled it for us, maybe mother modelled it for you. Mother was a pleaser. Maybe you realise that by doing the right thing, pleasing others, by being there for others, you got more acceptance, more love. And so basically it's just a pattern that develops. It's a pattern and a strategy that develops at a very early age in order to gain acceptance or avoid rejection, to gain a sense of belonging somehow. But all that happens in the process is you lose yourself, and that's where the pain comes in. Because quite literally you're energetically moving away from yourself as you're trying to please another. I mean, you can feel it energetically. What do you want? How shall I please you? Please don't judge me. Won't you accept me? Literally, energetically, it's a movement away from myself to you. I'm giving you the power. And the only way to really overcome these tendencies, these patterns, these deeply ingrained strategies, is to own, acknowledge and confess it whenever it arises. You have to catch yourself. You have to confess it and say, I just noticed I'm trying to please you. And then you disengage from it. Or maybe you say, if I'm going to please you, you better damn well appreciate it. You better respond appropriately. You better love me, accept me, approve of me, and give me exactly what I want, or I'll stop pleasing you. But technically, it's better really to not lose yourself. Now, the problem is there's a very fine line between being loving and caring and considerate and losing yourself in pleasing others. It's a fine line. You don't want to give up being loving and caring and sensitive to the needs of others. But most of us inherently know when we cross that line. We know the difference. Hands up again, the people pleasers. Right. You'd probably be our champion, wouldn't you, Gigi? At great harm to yourself, I believe. When are you going to give it up? The second part of the question or the confession is about judging herself. And that also is very, very painful. The only way you can overcome judging yourself is the same as what I suggested earlier. You own, acknowledge, confess, identify the energy of judgment as it arises. Own it, the energy of trying to fix yourself, thinking you're not good enough. You can't escape from these things. You can't step aside from them. You have to literally step right into it, embrace it, be it, feel what it feels like, feel the pain, own it, acknowledge it, confess it, then step out of it. And if you're really addicted to people pleasing, as several people in this room are, then go up to the people you're pleasing. Go up and go down on your knees before them and please accept me. I'll do anything to have you accept me, please. How shall I please you? What do you want from me? I'll do anything to gain your acceptance, your approval, your love. I'll do anything. I'm a beggar. Because that's really what's underneath it. I don't want to be alone. That's underneath it. I'll take care of you because deep down I really want you to take care of me. Can any of our pleasers relate to that? Deep down I want you to take care of me. It really starts in childhood. If you trace it all the way back, it probably goes back to your mother or father, but mostly mother, who was helpless, was really a little girl in an adult body, and you tried to take care of her because you wanted her to be a true mother so she'd take care of you. Then you get caught in that loop. The problem is your mother never really grew out of being a little girl. She never really responded the way you wanted, and no one ever will. They're not supposed to. They're here to wake you up out of that pattern, out of that strategy. I hope you're not listening to any of this, Mary. Okay, does anyone have a question or a sharing that might arise out of that? Come on, folks, you're the ones here in person. No? Okay, we'll go to our list.
This question is from Matthew in Pacifica, California. What is the most effective way to share the practice of being present with others?
Good, that's a nice short question. What is the most effective way of sharing the presence with others? Well, the answer is rather obvious, is it not? Be present. It's pretty silly to try to go into your mind and try and explain to people what presence is all about and insist that other people are being present while you're not. So the most effective way of sharing presence with others, there are 2 steps involved. Step 1 is be present with them. Step 2 is give them a copy of Journey into Now. But to answer it at a slightly different level, what happens is the more present you are, the more it just organically opens up within you the ability to share with others presence and even guide others to presence if they're interested. You can't be a proselytizer. You don't want to be a preacher of presence. People will get very annoyed with you. People want to stay in their story and they want you to stay in their story. They don't want you being present. But every now and then you'll find someone who's very interested in presence and who is very responsive to your presence. And there's a response that occurs. And then they might ask you, well, what is this that I feel in you or sense in you? Or I notice that your life is quite transformed. Or you're not the same person you were 6 months ago or 12 months ago. What happened to you? Well, I'm learning the art of being present, or I'm more present now. I'm more a master of my mind and ego. You'll probably lose them with the second sentence. So if you notice you're losing them, just say, well, just Om a few times. But it is quite natural as you become more and more present and awake yourself that there's a natural expression that flows from you. And the more present you are, the more you have the ability, I don't like the word ability, but the easier it is for you to invite others into presence, either with or without words. And if you're using the words, then the words have to arise out of silence, out of presence. In between the words is silence. After the words, silence. Silence is the field, the ground from which the words arise and express. If you have any agenda that you want to awaken someone, you want them to be more present, that's you in your mind. If you feel frustrated with someone because they're not present, that's you in your mind. But perhaps the simplest way of all is simply to say to someone, would you please be present with me? That's pretty simple. Be ye present as I am present. You could even get a little biblical. Be ye here as I am here. Be ye here as the flowers are here. One of the greatest gifts you can bring to others is the realization of how simple it is to be present. And how being present is everyone's natural state. Everyone you meet, everyone you encounter is already a fully realized being. They're a fully awakened being. They're fully eternal beings. They just don't realize it. The more you're caught in your mind, your thoughts, your understanding, the more you disconnect from the truth of who you really are. But isn't it nice to know that being present is profoundly simple? Can I have a yay yay on that? It's as simple as being here with what is here. It's as simple as, it's like a fine-tuning, being present with what is here. Even the light switch on the wall, I can just zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. I become more and more present. It's a fine-tuning. Or I can become more and more finely attuned to the sound I hear in this moment. I can become very finely attuned to my left hand, this hand here. Bring full consciousness into my hand. I can bring full consciousness into my eyes, into the gaze as I look out through my eyes. It's as simple as being really, really present with what is here. No effort, no practice. It's always instant. The difficult thing is not being present. The difficult thing is remaining present. As you live your life, as you participate in relationships, as you go to work, the difficult part is remaining present. Because we are all so habituated in the world of the mind, it's difficult to remain present. That's why step 2 is necessary, mastery of the mind and ego, so you can come to a point where you are fundamentally present and you no longer get pulled out of the mind involuntarily. And the real truth is, it doesn't matter what I'm saying now. Some of you have heard what I'm saying before, perhaps many times before. The real value of being here together, or coming together through the medium of film, the real value is that this is an invitation to be present. You don't get invitations to be present that often in your day-to-day living. Most people are not presenting that invitation to you. Is that a fair statement? Yes. And yet the flowers are always presenting that invitation to you. The trees, the clouds, the mountains. But we're so busy trying to get ourselves approved of, or accepted, or finding a place where we fit in, or finding a way where we can be loved, or avoid the pain of rejection. We're so busy with all of that that we just imprison ourselves in our story. We're so busy pursuing success, trying to feel important, trying to avoid our aloneness, trying to please others, lost in judgment, that we don't respond, we don't feel, we don't sense the invitation that is constantly being presented to us in every moment. This Kleenex box is presenting to you an invitation to be present with it. If you respond fully and you're utterly present with the Kleenex box, at least for this moment of presence, you are an awakened being. That's the gift this Kleenex box brings to you. It brings to you the invitation into presence, as do these leaves or these flowers, as does the sound you hear in any given moment, as does your own body breathing. Such an invitation. It's constantly here, the invitation, wherever you are. It never ever stops, the invitation. But the moment we go into judgment, the moment we go into me, mine, I want it my way, we completely disconnect. We're not even aware of the invitation. Someone like me has to come along and whack you over the head and say, pay attention, look, the trees are inviting you. The flowers, the Kleenex box, there's an invitation here. Pay attention. Now that doesn't mean you have to respond. You're a free being. But at least be aware that there's an invitation here that comes from the present moment to you. And it's actually speaking, if I can translate for a moment, may I? I can translate the language of the flowers and the trees, if I may. They're saying to you, beloved, will you not be present with us? Beloved, is a drink of water more important? Beloved, are you aware that your feet are moving unconsciously? I'm translating for the trees and the flowers. Beloved, will you not be conscious and present beings? How beautiful must we make ourselves, say the flowers, to attract your attention. Is your story that interesting? Does it offer you so much hope that you remain engaged in this story that never really delivers on its promises? We don't understand, say the flowers. We're getting confused. We certainly would be confused if we tried to understand. But fortunately for us, say the flowers, we don't try to understand. Everything is just what it is. And that includes humanity lost in the mind, lost in separation, lost in unconsciousness, extremely destructive in their unconsciousness. Isn't that true, Ray? We're just here waiting, say the flowers, the trees. We're just here waiting. We will never give up on you. We will never withdraw from you our invitation. We will wait eternally. We will wait patiently for you. We would certainly hope that someone would respond, but we don't hope. We're just here. So we can't even get involved in hope, say the flowers and the trees. We're just here continually presenting our invitation to you. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that's what's going on. But for the most part, we humans are so absorbed, so lost in the maze that is our mind, in the complexities of our story, in the false promises of the future, and the distorted memories of the past. We're lost in this story that exists within the world of the mind. We're lost in our opinions. We're lost in our beliefs. What will it take for these flowers to attract your attention? For you to respond and be utterly here as the flowers are here? What will it take? Perhaps just this. Okay. Does anyone here have a question? Okay, let's pass the microphone down here.
My question is, in terms of being in a relationship, how to stay in presence and have the emotions come up and work through all of that?
Well, that is a big, big question, isn't it? You can probably just put that down. First of all, you have to realize that you're in the relationship basically not because you love whoever you're with, but because that's one of your best opportunities for awakening. Because the relationship is like a mirror. And the mirror is constantly reflecting to you every aspect of your unconsciousness, who you've become, the unconscious patterns and strategies that developed in childhood, the projections, the unfulfilled needs, where you're still reaching out to father or mother to have someone be here for you, the judgments, the expectations, the resentments. Relationships are really good for bringing all of this up. For the most part, though, we just get lost in our projections. We think, oh, it's you, it's your fault. Whereas God sent this person into your life to trigger everything within you. So every time you're triggered, you should just say, thank you very much. Now let me bring consciousness to my part in this. And by the way, I would be extremely grateful if you would bring consciousness to your part in this, or whatever you need to bring consciousness to. But if you don't, that's okay too. I'll stay in this relationship until I've learned my lessons, then I'm out of here. Because we'll be at a different level of consciousness. So I'm out of here, and I know that someone will come into my life who will be more in tune with this new level of consciousness, because I've taken responsibility for myself at every level. I'm deepening into presence. I'm bringing consciousness to all of my unconsciousness. I'm arising in mastery of my mind and ego. I'm no longer involved in blame or guilt or pleasing others or taking care of others. Not that you can't take care, but not in the way that you lose yourself. Now, the good news is it's possible for your partner also to gaze into the mirror. And if you're both gazing into the mirror and you're both doing the work, it becomes a really fast train towards awakening. And the relationship can move very quickly and easily from a dysfunctional relationship full of blame and projection and looking to the other for unfulfilled needs from childhood. It can slowly and gradually and gently transform into an entirely different kind of relationship where it's based in presence. It's not based in the story. You haven't attracted your partner in because your partner is a good match for your dysfunction, every dysfunctional aspect of yourself. See, if you feel unloved, for example, from childhood, you need to attract a man who finds it difficult to express love. If you feel bad about yourself from childhood or from other lifetimes, you need to attract into your life a judgmental man, because he's going to prove to you that you're right. And we all need to be right. So, as you become more and more present, more and more responsible, more a master of your mind and ego, and if your partner's doing the same, then the relationship transforms slowly and gradually and gently. Now it's a conscious relationship. Now you're whole. You're not looking to your partner to be there for you. You're looking to your partner to be there with you. Huge difference. Just change that one little word from for to with, and everything changes. You feel whole and complete within yourself. Your partner is whole and complete within himself. And in a sense, the foundation of the relationship is being present. It's not even that much about loving each other, to be perfectly honest with you. Because if you're really present and awake, you are love. If your partner is fully present and awake, your partner is love. I can never quite reconcile why we need to love each other when I'm love and you're love. I don't quite get that. On the other hand, if you are present and awake and you are love, then naturally you're going to express yourself lovingly. And if you don't, there's your opportunity to bring consciousness to every unconscious aspect of yourself. But do so without judgment. Confess to your partner every time you're caught in unconsciousness. But with love. And your partner needs to keep quiet when you're confessing. You don't need your partner's help. You just need the opportunity to confess whatever's arising within you, and your partner is like a Buddha. Sits there and receives your confession. That's all. Now it's difficult. I know that this sounds a little ideal because we humans are so lost that most relationships are extremely dysfunctional and difficult. We just get lost. Then we stay in dysfunctional relationships because we're afraid to be alone. And we fail to look into the mirror. But if you know how to be in a relationship, it will heal you. Can anyone attest to that? Is anyone experiencing that in their relationships, in their lives? I'm putting my hand up, Mary. Good. And the other thing is, you cannot expect your partner to be perfect. You have to accept the humanness of your partner. You know, you at one level your partner is like a god, or godlike. At the deepest level of presence, of course, so are you. But your partner is also human, with all the human frailties of having to live in a world of duality, living in the world of time. Allow your partner the luxury of making mistakes. But hopefully when your partner makes a mistake, there's a very quick apology that comes with it. And I mean an apology in true humility. It's pointless if your partner just keeps repeating the same mistake. But if your partner's willing to really see that I acted unconsciously, I'm sorry. I really will commit to not doing that again. And even if your partner does it again, that's okay, as long as he apologizes. Sooner or later it'll get better. And of course you're doing the same thing. The need to be right is extremely damaging, destructive within relationships. Particularly men. Don't men generally need to be right? And women do too, but they keep it more concealed. But my recommendation is the more skilled you are at surrendering the need to be right, the more harmonious your relationship will be. And just say to your partner, yes dear, you're right. Just practice that, make it a mantra. Yes dear, you're right, absolutely. I apologise. Whatever I did, you've got to be sincere. Whatever I did, I apologise. You know, relationships, I always encourage people to be in relationship. But don't get lost in them. Don't get lost in love. Almost the whole of humanity is lost in what I call false love. We're lost in the object of the love. The love projects onto the object of the love, then you get lost in it. We need to remember that if you love your partner in any given moment, the only thing it means is that in that moment you are love. That's all it means. It never goes beyond that. Your partner might happen to be lovable, that might be so, but it doesn't alter the deeper truth, which is in any given moment that you are loving your partner or feeling love, it means you are love. Don't let it get too mixed up with your partner. Don't think it's about your partner. It's a statement about you. If your partner loves you in any given moment, same thing. The other thing I can say about love is that love never goes beyond the moment. The truth of love arises from presence when you're present. It's who you are when you're present. When you're truly present, you are love. But if you take it into the mind, all sorts of things are starting to go on. As you take the love that is your true essence into relationship, which is based by its very nature in time, now what you're really saying is, good, I love you, now you're going to be here for me. Until death do us part, and if you're not here for me, I'll kill you anyway. you'll be here for me. Now I can project onto you. Now I can project all my expectations and resentments onto you. If you take it too far into time and you start to get comfortable because you've found someone to be there for you, you just bring the whole of your dysfunctional past and project it right into the relationship. Now there's nothing wrong with that, just bring it to consciousness. The only moment you can ever love another is in this moment. Everything else is a beautiful illusion. I know that the world is not ready for what I just said. I'm okay with that. But it's the truth. Everything else has hooks in it, fantasy in it, projections in it, losing yourself in it. If you're present, you are love. And if you happen to be feeling love for another, it's because you are love in that moment. That's about it. Is anybody ready for what I'm saying? Okay. Good. Okay, so thank you for your question. Hopefully that was helpful. Is he your partner?
No.
Oh, okay, he's not here. Okay, I shouldn't even assume it's a he, should I? It is, okay. Okay, does anybody else want to ask a question? All right, then just put the microphone down and we'll be present for a little while. Which is really the point in our being here, is it not? And just close your eyes. Or you can have them open, it doesn't really matter. Just bring yourself present with your body breathing in this moment. Your body can only breathe in the moment. If you go too far into your mind, your body feels in a subtle way abandoned by you. But if you're present, aware of the body breathing, the body feels comforted. Good, he's back, she's back. I'm not alone. Present with the body breathing. Present with the sound you hear in each moment. Present with the feeling of air upon your face, your hands. Present with the sense of space all around you and inside you. Just present with what is here. Here in the moment with you. Then I can ask you, who is present? Present with what is here in this moment. I am. I am. I am. Silent presence. Eternal, silent presence. I am that. I am. Okay, so just open your eyes when you feel ready to. And Mary, would you like to read the next question? I would pass the microphone back. You can all wriggle around for a moment, become unconscious for a few moments, no problem, because we can come back to presence, the deepest level of presence, like that. Like that.
This is from Jennifer. Leonard, lately I feel stuck in some feelings rooted in my past, feelings of abandonment and feeling invisible. Of course, today, some of the things that I am going through are magnifying these feelings and are hard to get through. I've tried journaling, talking things out with honesty, therapy, energy work, yoga, even practicing presence.
Even.
It can really be hard some days, feeling consumed by the emotions. How can I be present with my feelings, yet at the same time not hang on to them? I am ready to release them. Do you have any exercises or things to try working with presence that would help me overcome my sadness? Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay, so really disguised within that question is the subtle clue that she wants to get rid of these feelings. She wants to get rid of the sadness. She's journaling, hoping the sadness or the feelings will go away. It's very subtle. Or she's sharing the feelings or speaking about it, hoping it will go away. Whereas the feelings are being triggered because something is in need of healing. Some things are not meant to go away too quickly. Some things are meant to come up fully so that you can get to the very, very source and origin of where the feelings come from, whether it's in childhood or whether it's in some other lifetime. But what's happening in Jennifer's life is that these feelings are being triggered. So you can sometimes just release these things by feeling them, expressing them, journaling about them. Maybe that might work. Feel the feelings, maybe that's enough. But if it's not enough, it means that your soul is preparing itself or preparing you for a much deeper level of healing. And the only way you can get to that deeper level of healing is to really trust what is arising and let it come up even more fully. Invite the feelings to come up more fully. Don't try and get rid of them. Don't try and fix them. But be very open to the feelings arising fully, expressing the story that's woven into the feelings, but don't get lost in the story. Now, that's where presence comes in. That can only be accomplished as you become more and more present. Because when you're present, you're transcendent of the story. You're transcendent of the past. You're transcendent of where these feelings come from. It really provides a very safe environment into which the feelings can arise into full and conscious and responsible expression. Let yourself be surprised. Let the feelings surprise you. You don't know what it's really about. Let the feelings come up fully, and then there'll come a point where healing just occurs naturally. Sometimes feelings won't go away because they're there to bring up a much deeper level that is in need of healing. It can often occur at the soul level. So, that's my response to you, Jennifer. Does that make sense to anyone here? It's not the easiest path, is it? If you'd been at the retreat that we just did in Denmark, well, many of you have been to my retreats anyway, but this retreat was just wonderful. Isn't that true, Mary? Many of the people there had seen me for a number of years, so they were well prepared. And people were just popping all over the place. It was one after another, but all supported beautifully by this very deep and profound level of presence and oneness in the group. Things were coming up so spontaneously, so deeply, and the healings that occurred there defied imagination, defied reason. If you approach it with your mind, if you approach it with your soul's intelligence, of course it all makes sense. Everything that occurs in your life, every person that comes into your life, everything that happens in your life, every time somebody says something that upsets you or hurts you or makes you angry, that's all designed to awaken you. If you came into this world and your father was judgmental and harsh and critical, that is there in your life to awaken you. It mightn't happen for quite a few years. You might get caught in a painful story, but at the end of the day, that's there to free you from your story. Sooner or later, the story will get so difficult that you will find yourself being ejected from it. The purpose of the story, the ultimate purpose of the story that we all live within the mind, is ultimately to eject you from it. And if you're ejected from the story, from your own story, your past, all your past experiences, your sense of who you are, your relationship with your parents in childhood, all your past lives, all your future imaginings, if you're ejected from that story, if it all gets so difficult you're suddenly ejected from it, where will you find yourself? Only one place. Here, now. It's only in the present moment, when you're truly present, that you're free of your story. What a blessed relief. To be free of your story every now and then. Wouldn't that be nice, folks? Or what if you become fundamentally free of your story? Your story remains, you're still living your story. You just don't live in that anymore. You don't take it so seriously. You go through whatever healings you need to go through in order to release yourself from the story. You come into right relationship with every aspect of yourself that's involved in the story, from the story, caught in the story. Everything is revealed. You reveal where you're caught in your story. Are you still caught with a mother that wasn't really present for you in the way you needed her to be? Are you still caught with a father who was angry or judgmental or abusive? Are you still caught in that lifetime 7 lifetimes ago when you got stretched on the rack because you spoke words of truth? Or are you caught somewhere in your future hoping that things will get better? Looking for some future outcome, even enlightenment. That's the story. Who are you in your story? What is the story? What script have you written for yourself? How could it be that the script you wrote for yourself, which means everything that's ever happened in your life, how could that possibly be designed by you at the soul level to awaken you? Can you examine your story from that perspective? Why did you have the parents you had? Why did you go through those difficult experiences in childhood? How is it all designed to awaken you? You're the designer. How is that possible? Why did you design it that way? Can somebody explain it? You don't need to. But it's worth examining your story from that perspective. And you can't really think too much about it. It's more, in a sense, shining a torch. Do you call it a flashlight? Shining a flashlight on your story. Just go through your whole story and shine a flashlight on different parts of your story and then connect the dots. And then take that flashlight and put an even stronger battery in it. Put a super, super powerful battery in it and then shine it into other lifetimes. You'll see that the significant things in your lifetime here are connected to previous experiences in other lifetimes that are in need of healing to truly liberate the soul. Now, I don't need you to believe what I'm saying, but if what I'm saying resonates in any way as true for you, then relax, enjoy. If it doesn't, let it go. To agree or disagree is of the mind. To believe or disbelieve is of the mind. The truth is within each one of us, at the very centre of our being. And at the deepest level, the truth is known in silence. It arises from silence. It expresses from silence. It returns to silence. Silence is ongoing. It never ends. It has no edges. It has no boundaries. And the silence that I'm describing is at the very center of your being. Infinite, eternal silence, pure consciousness. I am that I am. So given that's the truth, you might as well relax and just enjoy your life within the world of time. Enjoy. Don't work too hard. I should point the finger my way when I say that. Don't work too hard. The most significant thing you can ever accomplish in this world is just to be present. And to become fundamentally established in presence in this lifetime, all you can say is, God, it is accomplished. God, I am here now. Do you wish to share anything, Michael? You seem to have quite a lot of unconsciousness going on. I'm wondering if there's anything going on for you. Yeah, pass him the microphone.
Thank you for asking. I guess the past few years I've been dealing with a great deal of death and dying, family, friends, internal, external. And presence has really helped me participate in those events. And I kind of had that as a topic when I came here tonight. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express that. I don't have any revelations about it, just that whatever suffering we go through in life, I think presence really gets it to the heart of the matter.
That's very true, but you have to be very careful that you don't use presence as a way of avoiding feelings that might be there at a certain level, but you're able to, in a sense, disregard them because you have a certain level of presence awake in you. Those feelings can accumulate within you, and then it causes a disturbance that you might not be aware of. So it's important to allow all the feelings that might be associated with death and dying, feelings of grief, if that's what is there or has been there, you need to allow all of that to be a part of your present moment as well.
Well, I think that that's very true, and at the same time, it's the great paradox because you're not there for you; you're there for that other person, and to help them make that transition. It's walking the razor's edge, I think, in presence to be experiencing those deaths and that dying. It's
Okay, so
painful and blessed at the same time.
Well, what I'm trying to reflect to you, and you can do with this as you wish,
Yes.
that with walking that razor's edge, you've taken on quite a lot of unconsciousness somewhere within your body, within your energy, that you might want to bring to awareness, that's all. Because I've seen you at much deeper levels of presence than I'm seeing you now. So I'll assume there's a connection. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm just reflecting that to you for you to do with as you will. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary, can you tell me what time it is?
It's 8:25.
Okay, so we're about to finish up. You wait till 8:25. Pass almost over the... But remember, the rest of us are staying very present.
Hi, Leonard.
Hi, Almosta.
I just wanted to express my gratitude. I haven't seen you in quite a while. And I wanted to say to Mary, when I walked in the door, I felt so much love from her. And to be here with you is such a beautiful reminder.
Mm.
And you got me choked up again, Leonard.
Well, that's beautiful and it's sweet, and it really is lovely to see you. It has been quite a while, and Mary and I have quite a love for you, and we're happy to see you.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's all be present for a few moments together, and we'll finish for the evening. Do you want the microphone? Mary would like the microphone.
So I just wanted to remind everyone in the room and everyone who's joining us via webcast tonight that we will be back here 2 weeks from tonight, which is July 19th. And the other thing is, I want to thank those people who have generously sent in donations today. We've received a few, and we really appreciate it. And I want to encourage those people who are joining us via webcast to go ahead and click on Make a Donation and support this work and support us in continuing to provide these webcasts for free. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, so a moment in presence. I always like to end this with the deepest levels of presence. And I wish the people watching via video could see how present everyone is in this room. The level of oneness that is here. And I hope that's being experienced by whoever is watching this at home. So I thank you all for your presence, and hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Okay? Thank you.